Today we're going to be talking about how you guys can get offers if you attend a small school. Now, one of the first things you could do to get offers if you attend a small school or live in a small town, find out what recruits are getting recruited in the bigger cities near you, find out what coaches are recruiting them, and then I would try to reach out to those coaches through social media. So let's use the example of like Illinois. Let's say you live like more like southern Illinois, like kind of middle of nowhere, and obviously the biggest city in Illinois is Chicago, right? So there's a ton of athletes that get recruited out of Chicago every single year by different coaches from different universities. So I would try to figure out, okay, who are the top recruits at your position in Chicago? So let's say you're a receiver, for example. Okay, who are the top 10 receiver recruits in Chicago? Okay, this guy's getting an offer from this school and this coach is communicating with him. How you can find that out is usually when a recruit posts something on Twitter or on X saying like, oh, blessed to receive this offer, you know, blessed to announce this offer, etc. They'll tag the coach. That's how you could find that out. So you have to kind of do some digging, but what you want to do is you want to follow that coach and then obviously try to connect with him via social media, sending him your film. Maybe you have your film in your bio and you have in your X bio that you are from Illinois and go to a certain school, because how colleges recruit is they will send one specific coach to a state. Like, so that means that like the receiver coach could end up recruiting QB, wide receiver, O-line, D-line. They don't send the receiver coach to 50 different states, you guys. You just have to find out who that recruiting guy is for all those individual schools, and that's who you ultimately want to reach out to and get your film in front of. Now also, fellas, something that college coaches look for in recruits is if you pass the eye test. Eye test has to do with your size, your height, your weight. So if you guys need to get bigger, you want to get a little bit stronger this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below for our AG Labs Whey Protein Powder. This is some of the best tasting protein out there. We have 4 different flavors: cookies and cream, cinnamon swirl. Then we have some different flavors like salted caramel, frappuccino, etc. So guys, check out that very first link in the description below if you guys would like one of our whey protein powders. If you use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout, you get 25% off your first order of protein. Now, the next thing that you could do to increase your chances of getting seen by a college coach or getting noticed by a college coach if you are at a small school is attending, obviously, college camps. So coaches are going to want to see you with their own eyes, because college coaches evaluate talent all over the country 24/7, 365. So a lot of times at these smaller schools, you're maybe not playing as high level of competition. So if you feel you have the skills and you're very dominant on film, let's say you're a receiver and you have plays where you're catching a bubble screen, making somebody miss and going, a college coach might think, oh, well, he's plays at this small school, he's playing at other small schools that are probably not as talented. Is he really good enough? So maybe if you've been communicating with a college coach via X, formerly known as Twitter, or whatever the situation may be, you want to go to camps where those coaches are there. Coaches that you have communicated with, let them know that you're coming to their camp so they can see you with their own eyes. And if you have the skills, if you have the tools to play at the next level, they will see that, they will notice that, because you're right in front of their face. So make sure that you get out to camps in the off season. Now, something you need to have if you attend a small school and want to get recruited is a dominant highlight tape. So again, guys, if you play at a small school and you just have an average highlight tape where, you know, like, yeah, like let's give an example here. Let's say you're a receiver and let's say you caught, you know, maybe 12 touchdowns on the year. And that's great. 12 touchdowns is a great number to have. But if all 12 touchdowns are you're just wide open over the middle, busted coverage, or the DB is just terrible and you catch the ball and you just walk into the end zone, I wouldn't necessarily classify that as like an explosive or dominant highlight tape. Now, let's say you're a receiver who caught 12 touchdowns, but all 12 touchdowns are you catching like a drag, breaking a tackle, making somebody miss, then going to score. That's a dominant highlight tape. You have to showcase that you were one of the best players on the field if you attend a small school, because that's the only way that a college coach is going to notice you guys. These guys that go to bigger schools, like I live in Southern California, the big schools there in Bosco, Mater Dei, you can honestly play at that school for 1 year, like freshman, sophomore, junior year, you're on the bench, you don't get a single snap. You ball out your senior year, you'll probably get a D1 offer because of the caliber schools that they play and the caliber of school that they are. So if you're not in that situation, you have to make sure that you are dominant and it shows up that you're the best player on the field. Now, if you're going to be attending a small high school, something that's important that factors into your decision is how well connected your high school head coach is. So like at the end of the day, guys, like the first point of contact usually in the recruiting process, yeah, maybe a coach contacts you on Twitter, but usually coaches want to come down to your high school, whether it's a big school or a small school, and see you with their own eyes if they're actually interested, right? So they call that time period the contact period, which usually takes place after Christmas break, and then there's a period in the spring where that takes place as well. So you want to go to a school if you have that, you know, benefit to be able to choose what school that you get to go to, where your high school head coach has a tradition of getting people to the next level. So if you have 2 schools, and let's say this is a coach that you really, really like, there's a coach who's like, oh, okay, he's all right, like I don't hate him, but I don't, you know, he's not the best coach I've ever seen in the world. And this guy has a tradition of getting nobody to the next level, but this guy gets like, you know, 3, 4, 5 guys every year to the next level. He's got more connections than this opposite coach. So I would recommend, if you're serious about playing college football, going to that school, because if you perform well, you do the things that you need to do, he's going to obviously tell his connections about you, because that makes him look look good, and that keeps that good relationship with those college coaches. So when you're trying to decide what school to go to, if it's a bunch of small schools, that's okay, but a high school head coach's connection can definitely benefit you in the process.